Welcome to this edition of the Urban Sports Scene. It's your man Ray Rogers, and order has been restored. I'm back hosting this week, so for old time's sake, Tip, bring us in.
Let you down, I'ma shine on sight. Keep your mind on your grind and off of mine's alright. Right? Hard, I'ma ball on those squares. I floated $250,000 cars everywhere I go. I know in the lead it may seem me might be, but no matter what they doing, they don't do it like me.
You're listening to the Urban Sports Scene.
All right, thanks for joining us today, and unfortunately, we're half the show we used to be, man, because it's just myself and Wally Akinzo. But we still plan to have fun over the next 40 minutes or so, giving you our unique views and perspectives about NBA, NFL, MLB, and we even going to sneak in some tennis today for y'all. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started with my man Allen Iverson. He was on Twitter. He plans on an NBA comeback. Personally, I don't think he has a chance getting back in the league. He hasn't been exciting for years. He's had a lot of off-the-court issues, including family, trashing hotel rooms, drinking, gambling. What you think?
I think he's going to find a gig. There's a lot of teams out there that need scoring. The Spurs need scoring off the bench, especially with the rumors that Tony Parker might be out. So, and AI might want to, he wants to latch on with a contender. I think anybody would want a potential 20-point score coming off the bench.
Yeah, well, let me read, just a little bit of the couple tweets he put out. He said, I want to return to the NBA this season and help any team that wants me in any capacity that they feel I can help. I'm disappointed and I owe my fans more than what they have seen from me over the last couple seasons. That's telling right there for me because he didn't want to come off the bench in Memphis, and when he got to Philly, he had family issues. So basically, he's saying he's focused now. He now wants to come off the bench. He'll do whatever it takes to get back on the NBA, scene. But for I think he's more disappointed with himself than, necessarily disappointed fans, if that makes sense.
Well, let's be real. He's been humbled. I mean, in Memphis, he thought he was going to start, and, they traded him back to Philly. And in Philly, he didn't do what he thought he was going to do. He's just been humbled. I think that's why he's willing to go on the bench. He saw that, when he went to Philly and got that opportunity to be like a front-of-the-line guy, because, with Iguodala, he's not the kind of guy, like I said on a previous show, he's not the kind of guy that will take 30-some-odd shots. So AI thought he can go in that scene and still be AI, and he realized that he's lost a step. And it's hard for a superstar player to be humbled that way, to know that, okay, I've lost a step.
Well, I mean, dog, Iverson has a bad reputation. Let's be real. I mean, not only off the court, but I mean on the court. He went to Denver. It seemed like they, didn't have chemistry.
They ran him out of Denver.
They were out the first round of playoffs. Went to Detroit, the same thing. Chauncey Billups goes to Denver. They go to the conference championship. What's that say? What's that say about your man?
I mean, I think it's two separate situations. In Denver, Chauncey Billups is a point guard. AI is a scorer. They needed a point guard to man that team. AI is a 2. He's not a 1. Though he's small, he's still a 2. So I think AI going to Denver wasn't the greatest mesh in terms of what they needed to get them over the hump. But as a scorer, I think he filled his role. I don't think in that within Denver failing, it wasn't AI's fault. I think a lot of times you had Melo's immaturity as well back then.
Yeah, I mean, it's the perception. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. It appears that it was his fault. Wherever he goes, the team
definitely
doesn't achieve the same level. And John Thompson was very defensive of Allen Iverson as far as that goes. But, I mean, with all that's going on in free agency, I think we forgot about people like Allen Iverson and even Shaq. And it's a rumor recently that Shaq is getting ready to head over to Atlanta. I don't know at this point who would want to sign Shaq unless he gets in shape. I mean, he can get skinny again. I don't care what type of personal chef he has. I mean, he hasn't even looked like he's attempted to get in shape. What you think?
Man, if Shaq can, with the right team, he can be an effective big man. I don't see him going to Atlanta. I don't see a championship at this state of his career. If you want to play in this state of in your career, you would expect to be on a team that's going to do something like the Boston Celtics or something like that, but not an Atlanta Hawks squad.
Okay, Dirty Birds. That's what I'm talking about. Nah, but Shaq. Think about it. He's coming off the bench, first of all. They already made that clear. Horford is their starting center. Mm-hmm. Can Shaq really give you effective minutes? I think he can come off the bench. I'll be real about that. I kind of changed my thought, but I still don't see why people would need him. Can't you find somebody else? Anybody. I mean, who would you take right now, Brendan Haywood or Shaq?
That's a tough one, actually. I'm a favorite. I'm on one side of Shaq. I used to be a long-time Lakers fan, and Shaq has gotten us multiple championships. And I would go with somebody who's been there before than somebody who's just, is the in thing now. Because, I've seen Brendan visiting multiple teams. I think Brendan's more the in thing now in terms of big men.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, Brendan Haywood is not the most skilled big man. We know that. So we know that Shaq was a skilled big man.
But I'll say it this way. It depends what you need. If you want a big man who's going to play more defense, obviously you go with Brendan Haywood. Who can play more of the pick and roll kind of defense, you go Brendan. Shaq doesn't play D.
Well, okay, if you can't take Brendan Haywood's spot, what are you good for in this league?
Oh,
right
I mean,
now?
no.
I mean, Brendan Haywood's a body. Don't get me wrong. Maybe I'm devaluing Brendan Haywood. I don't know.
No, like I said, Shaq on a certain team could be quite effective. I think look at it like this: Shaq going to the Boston Celtics would be good because you have Perkins who will probably be out till January. Shaq can go in there, fill a void, give him a big presence because Kendrick Perkins wasn't giving him anything in terms of offensively. Shaq can do pretty much some of the things Kendrick Perkins can do. Not a better defender than Kendrick Perkins, obviously, especially on pick and roll. But Shaq would be more of an intimidating figure inside.
Well, I mean, maybe we can debate that later on and make your point. But let's move on. NBA free agency is huge right now. We just want to be a little different, y'all. We didn't want to start off with the same stuff that everybody's talking about. LeBron. I'm kind of sick of Chris Broussard. He needs to be He needs to be on LeBron's payroll, dog. But anyway, right now they're talking about Chris Bosh signing with Toronto and being traded to Cleveland. Chris Bosh, his camp is saying he never wanted to play in Cleveland. He's still open to playing with Wade and LeBron in Miami. I would rather see him play in Miami with Wade and leave LeBron stuck with that team he's with now and having to earn his championship like MJ did. Scottie Pippen, I love Scottie Pippen. It's my favorite player, but I'm going to keep it real today. We know MJ did that thing for the most part by himself. Scottie Pippen was a huge asset, don't get me wrong. But I don't think LeBron necessarily has found that player. But I want to see LeBron work for it. I do think the NBA needs LeBron and Kobe in that championship finally, even though this year did have a huge ratings draw. But Chris Bosh going to Miami, I think is a better fit. I think that'll help Wade out a whole lot. He'll stay there. You add in Beasley, you add in Chalmers. That's a nice team right there. LeBron, on the other hand, I think he should go to New York. Ray Allen should sign with New York. Ray Allen, LeBron, Amari. That's a championship team.
If Bosh going to Miami, there was a report saying that he didn't want to go to Cleveland because he played in Toronto, which was a boring city for him. And, going to Cleveland, like Joakim Noah said, there's nothing but factories down there. So it kind of, he wasn't looking forward to going to Cleveland if it was a sign and trade. And now he would rather go to Miami. There's a rumor saying that he would rather go to Miami because, well, there's things to do. And as Stephen A. Smith would say, South Beach is down there. So,
No doubt.
So Chris Bosh going to Miami, teaming up with Wade would be an interesting thing. I want to know because Toronto, I heard, they weren't willing to do a sign and trade with Miami. So is that saying that they're not trying to offer Beasley in the deal, or they don't want Beasley?
Say that one more time.
I'm
slow.
That's okay. Nah, it's okay. I'm trying to figure out if Toronto inquired about Beasley, or if Pat Riley said, I'm not trying to trade Beasley.
For some reason, and I don't know, maybe y'all can tell us out there, email the show, change.da.game6@gmail.com. For some reason, they said they'll do it. They're open to a sign and trade. Toronto, I'm speaking of, is open to a sign and trade to Cleveland, but not Miami. I have no idea why. Maybe Miami can offer. I mean, maybe Cleveland can offer them a better deal because you heard it was going to be Turkoglu and Bosh for Delonte West, J.J. Hickson, and Anderson Varejao, which would be a much better deal. What can Miami offer them? I think that's the question, but I'm not sure.
I think Miami, if Pat Riley is willing to do it, I think you're offering a young up-and-coming talented player in Michael Beasley, who's would pretty much beat all of them out in terms of talent-wise. In terms of quantity, obviously,
but
it's a hard deal.
You don't know where his head is, though.
You're right, but in terms of potential, a potentially, a potential superstar player, why not go
for
for
Toronto?
That? Yeah.
Who's going to watch Michael Beasley, DeMar DeRozan, and
who's going to watch J.J. Hickson, D. West, and company?
Well, they give you a better chance to win.
We don't know that. They give you a better chance.
J.J. Hickson, I think, has been in the shadow of LeBron. I think he's potentially
how do we know
second man.
That's good, but how do we know that LeBron didn't? Yeah. How do we know that LeBron didn't make him better? I think LeBron has made a lot of individuals on that team better.
That's a good question. Well, you got a valid argument. Mm-hmm. I give you that. But think about it: Turkoglu, LeBron, Bosh. That's a championship team.
Now, if Cleveland gets Turkoglu in the deal, then it's like a steal. It's just like the Lakers getting Pau Gasol that year. It's a steal for Kwame Brown.
Let's touch on Wade real quick. Wade going back to Chicago along with Derrick Rose. if you bring in, again, a good shooter, all you need is a Ray Allen.
Yeah.
I think Ray Allen is one of the main factors in free agency. I didn't mention him last week, but I think he's a